Hi, good evening.
Hi, thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Want to let everyone know that we do have two members that are just finishing up another meeting that they're attending, two separate meetings, and we would anticipate them joining us just a few minutes after 6. And right now we are one shy of quorum. We'll give it a few minutes.
Chair Graves, we do have 8 members currently joined since we do have newly appointed member Wiseman on.
Okay, great. Yes, and we now are one over. Perfect. So good evening, everyone. I call to order the Community Advisory Board meeting for February 23rd. 2022. And Madeline, would you do roll call?
Absolutely. Thank you. Member Baldenegro will be absent today. Member Barnett?
Here.
Member Bartholow?
Here.
Member Lange is supposed to be joining shortly. Let me see if maybe they just joined. No, not yet. Okay. Member Rom, again, also to be joining shortly. Member Richardson? Member Richardson?
Here. Sorry, I
thank
was
you.
muted.
Appreciate it. Thank you. Sorry, I'm also looking down. Member Rodriguez?
Here.
Thank you. Member Square? Member Steffi?
Here.
Member Weeks?
Here.
Member Wiseman?
Here.
Vice Chair Inocencio? And Chair Graves?
Here.
Thank you. Let the record show that all members are present, except for Member Baldenegro, Member Lange, and Member Rom. Thank you.
I appreciate the levity right there. That was nice. So moving on to item number 2 in public comments, I want to just read this off for clarity that this is a time when any person may address matters not listed on this agenda, but which are within the subject matter of the jurisdiction of the Community Advisory Board. The public may comment on agenda items when the item is called. Public may be made live during the meeting via Zoom, and each speaker is allowed 3 minutes. Public comments may also be submitted by 5 p.m. the Tuesday before the CAB meeting via email at communityengagement@srcity.org or via recorded voice message at 707-543-3080. Recorded voice message comments will be played up to 3 minutes each at the time that agenda item is discussed during the CAB meeting. Email public comments will be provided to all CAB members prior to the meeting. And as I see, we had no email comments. Madeline, do we have any public comments at this time?
There are currently no hands raised for public comment.
Great, thank you. We'll close that item number 2, public comments, and move on to item number 3, approval of minutes from January 26, 2022. The regular meeting minutes were attached to the agenda. Are there any comments, edits, questions from the board?
My only comment would be that I also had trouble opening the minutes as well. So it seems all around some of these attachments to the agenda are not working.
So Member Weeks, I think I may understand the issue. Sometimes it can be a browser issue, and sometimes it can be that instead of opening it downloads. So you may want to check your downloads because you might not have caught that it did that. I was able to open up each attachment. So it is possible, but I'm not negating the fact that you had trouble with that.
I just tried to send it again as a web link. So sorry, I just realized I only sent it.
No, so what you have to do, so I was trying to click on the link just by clicking on the PDF in my email. So you'd actually need to download the entire agenda for the day. And then once you do that, you can access the links. My fault.
All right. Well, good information. And are there any other questions or comments regarding the minutes? No? So do we have any public comment? Oh, first we'll go to, is there a motion to approve the minutes?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
Thank you, Member Rodriguez. A second to approve the minute?
I'll second it.
That's Member Steffi with the second. Now we'll move to public comment.
It looks like we do have one hand raised for public comment. One moment.
Yeah, this is Gregory Farron. I just wanted to make the comment that what I thought I was saying and what was reflected in the minutes was different than what I thought I was trying to communicate last time. The minutes that you're now going to approve indicate that I was opposing Gen H's application because they don't serve homeless. That's the way it comes across to me when I read it, but it wasn't what I was trying to say. Of course, it is hard to do homeless housing, and I don't expect Gen H to do homeless housing. They have their own niche, they have their own territory of housing, and it's a very needed segment of our housing. I support it. I'm a member of Gen H, and I think that their application to try to promote housing for the what we used to call and still call the missing middle, which is now the missing giant middle, it was appropriate. And I was surprised that you guys were thinking of giving a grant. You've never done housing as far as I can remember, and it was just so much of a surprise. All I was saying was, if you were to have funded that grant, there would be lots of other people trying to ask you to help support their housing projects for all of the residents. I was not trying to, and I apologize if anybody thought I was trying to sabotage and or say don't fund it because they don't do the entirety of housing. They don't do homeless housing, and that's just a point I was making. I guess maybe to say that if you approve that grant, I'd be right in the door next asking you to support whatever homeless housing. You chose not to do any housing. You turned down the grant. That's your choice. But please don't think that I was trying to, say that housing produced by Gen H was not needed. Thank you.
Thank you, Gregory. There are no other hands raised for public comment.
Thank you. And thank you, Gregory. At this time, do we do a vote for the motion on the table?
Yes, we will do a vote. Vote to approve minutes. Member Barnett.
Approve?
Member Bartholow.
Aye.
Member Richardson.
Approve?
Member Rodriguez.
Yes.
Thank you. Member Steffi.
Approve?
Member Weeks.
Aye.
Vice Chair Inocencio.
Aye.
And Chair Graves.
Approved.
Thank you very much. Minutes have been approved.
Thank you. And that closes item number 3. Moving on to agenda item number 4 and CAB announcements. This is when CAB members may share community news of interest to the CAB as a whole. And CAB members may also announce upcoming community events that may be of interest to CAB. It's also a time when CAB members may announce their early departure from the meeting so that we can plan ahead in any other announcement that affects or may affect this meeting, which for me would be a welcome to our new Member Wiseman. And thank you for joining us. It's great to see you here. And I would love for you just to take a 60-second elevator introduction of yourself and say hello to the rest of the CAB. Thank you.
Sure. Hi, everyone. Member Wiseman, or Sarah Jane Wiseman. I've lived in Sonoma County, up in Santa Rosa for over 20 years. Currently working at a sustainable redwood lumber and timber company that's based here in town, but I'm still new in that role. I'm in marketing, working for them. But for 10 years prior to that, I was working at Lagunitas Brewing Company, and we gave back to our local community footprint in Sonoma County for many years. And I worked with many nonprofits in the area as part of our community giving department. So that is close to my heart, working with our community, and excited to be on this committee and do my part and see what I can help out with.
Great, thank you. Thank you for that, and welcome once again to the CAB.
Thanks.
And any other announcements from CAB members? Raise your hand. Member Weeks?
Yeah, I think this has some relevancy. Next Tuesday, I believe, the Board of Supervisors will be revisiting the County Administration Center issue, and I think it's worthwhile noting it here because obviously it will have a pretty significant impact on the future of our downtown core and just for the broader city of Santa Rosa and really for the County of Sonoma altogether. So it's I think just important now to air that and then get as many people in that room as possible so we can let the Board of Supervisors know what we want them to do. And that's all I have for you today.
Thank you, Member Weeks. Any other announcements by CAB? I see none, so I'm going to fill in just a little bit. I want to update a little bit on the charter review. Committee provided information, will be providing information to the council regarding electing a mayor at large, but did not advise and will not be advising the council in either direction, whether it's to stay in districts or to be a mayor at large. We'll be just handing over some information that they gathered. It's very robust discussions. Again, I do encourage you to watch the Charter Review Committee meetings. They are online for you to watch, and they do happen every 2 weeks. Also, I participated in the Park a Month program to clean up Franklin Park over on Franklin itself this month, and that was a great time. Actually was joined by Bill Montgomery, who's a local historian, and gave us a history review on the Franklin Park as well. So anytime that you can join something like this, and I did go with my mask thinking that it was a few days after the mask mandate was lifted and thinking that everyone would maybe be maskless outside. Everyone had a mask on, just so you know. The folks were super safe, and that was welcomed. The next Park a Month program to clean up a park is going to be on March 12th. They're always from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. And on March 12th, it's going to be Arbor Day tree planting. So that's pretty exciting. I know, right? And that's going to be at Rincon Valley Community Park. And I'll just also mention the next one. They've got one every month, therefore the name Park a Month. In April, it'll be on the 9th at Coffee Park. So again, from 9 to 12. With that, I also want to make sure that it's planted with all of us so that we can help promote this. Our next round of community improvement project grants applications are due on April 4th. So you want to write that down. You want to go to our community advisory board page on the City of Santa Rosa website, go to the grants page, capture the link and send it out to your community organizations that you may know that would like to apply. That being the end of the announcements, I believe we'll go to public comment.
There are no hands raised for public comment.
Thank you. And we'll close out item number 4. Item number 5 is when we hand it over to Magali for the staff updates. This time is reserved for city staff to provide a briefing on issues of interest. She does have a list of us of 3 items there. So Magali, would you like to take it away?
Thank you so much. Good evening, everyone. We have a few staff updates, and of course I clicked and my notes disappeared. Okay, so starting with the Mary Lou lowrider, which some of you have been following us with that project. The car is almost complete. The SRPD logo will be added next week, and the following week the car's light bar will be put back on. And the last step to finishing up the car will be the upholstery, and then we're 100% ready to roll down the street. So the reminder is that the event is going to be held Saturday, March 26th from 4 to 8. We do have a table for cab. We'd love it if we could get some cab members to come out. This is going to be kind of our first city event on campus at City Hall, where we invite the community to come and participate in this really sort of beautiful and wonderful collaboration. So please reach out to Danielle, which Madeline, if you don't mind just adding Danielle's email to the chat box in case folks don't have it. And so she will take your information if you're interested in tabling on behalf of CAB. And Danielle will also follow up with an event flyer by the end of this week. The event is going to include the car show, of course, with the cars from the Lowrider Council participating, and the tabling will be from 4 to 6, but we want to invite you all to stay for the whole event, 4 to 8. There's going to be live entertainment, food, and a ceremony. It is going to all be outside. We are going to have all the safety precautions. We are going to have lots of hand sanitizer, all the things that we would need to make sure we're successful in keeping everybody safe. And also we're going to have Congressman Mike Thompson will present a posthumous congressional record statement in honor of Mary Lou Armour as part of the ceremony. And the ceremony is going to include speakers from the Lowrider Council and Al Lopez, who's a former owner of Lowrider Magazine, which is a really big deal that he lives here locally, and he's going to be joining us. So with the Multicultural Roots Project, March is Women's History Month. So we'll be highlighting several women in the month of March, including Charlie Toledo, sorry about that, Bernice Espinosa, Lori Fong, and Grace Chong Schulman in April to coincide with the reveal of the Mary Lou Lowrider Patrol Car. We're going to dedicate the month to lowrider history and lowriding in Sonoma County. So some articles will include general history, the Sonoma County Lowrider Council, women in lowriding, and several individual stories, and more information will be available soon. Our team has been invited to participate on the Museum on Sonoma County. Oh my gosh, I apologize. Today I cannot get my words together. On the Museum of Sonoma County's Peace Committee, and Peace stands for Programming, Education, and Community Engagement. So we're going to be learning more about what the group is working on and how we fit in, how we both kind of are working on community engagement and different projects to elevate the community. So with the open government update, the February 28th Council Subcommittee meeting has been canceled. We do have a number of conflicting events happening, and the next meeting is scheduled for April 25th at 6 p.m., which at this point in time, I believe, let's see, the City Council will be meeting and hold, okay, so I believe this time the April meeting will still be virtual unless we get other word, but it looks like it's going to be virtual for now, but we are all looking at transitioning at some point to at least a hybrid model. And the council meeting will be, the city council will be meeting to hold their goal setting meeting tomorrow, February 24th, starting at 8:30 a.m. at the city's utilities field office, which is 35 Stony Point Road. Public participation is welcome. Definitely a great way to get involved and understand what that conversation is going to be about. the Violence Prevention Partnership, the Choice Grant Program, which, as you all know, we spoke last time about. The Choice Grant Program opened on January 10th. We closed February 17th. We received 17 eligible proposals from community-based organizations, and our team is preparing for the grant review team for the review process, and we're going to be holding orientation for that tomorrow. And the grant review team will make final recommendations on April 5th. So we'll be able to know who the $750,000 will be awarded to the different agencies and programs. We are finalizing our school. We have a school outreach program that our team's been developing, which will be piloting at one middle school and one high school. So that's going to be Santa Rosa Middle School and Elsie Allen High School. This program will provide youth who are participating in restorative circles at each school with life skill classes and links to our community partners for services. So as some of you may have heard, our youth have greatly gone through a lot of trials and tribulations during the pandemic, maybe more so than youth in other communities, as the Youth Truth surveys and other data shows us. And so we want to be able to pilot a program with our youth that's very intentional, that's trauma informed, and that will connect our youth directly to our local nonprofits and services. And so we're in the early development stages of that, and more information will come for that. Last but not least, the crisis response team. Our team is also busy developing a proposal for a crisis response mechanism for the Violence Prevention Partnership. And this is in response to the shooting that happened last summer at Bayer Neighborhood Park. We realized through speaking with community members, along with the victim's family, that there needs to be a better response to incidents of community violence immediately following the incident. And this is going to include establishment of a communication mechanism between Santa Rosa Police Department and the Violence Prevention Partnership, activation of our violence prevention community partners to respond to immediate needs of the victims and their families. So this would be through mental health resources, advocate services, and ensuring that the city is using a trauma-informed approach and is culturally appropriate in the services and the way that we go about this. So we should have a proposal developed very soon that we will be presenting to our executive team here, as well as Santa Rosa Police Department. So more information to come on this. And that is the end of my report. Thank you.
That was chock full. Thank you for all of that great information. And to our board, do you have any questions or comments for Magali? I see none. So Magali, thanks again for that great report. And we'll take it now to public comment.
There are no hands raised for public comment.
Thank you. So we'll close out item number 5 and move right along to scheduled items. Item number 6.1. And this is the time of the year where the CAB holds a vote to elect a new vice chair. This is done on an annual basis, and the CAB members will be asked if they would like to be considered for vice chair, and then to nominate interested members for a vote. And I'm going to turn it on its ear just a tad bit, and actually, in order to make this a little bit smoother, ask if everyone who would not, if I could say it as well, if everyone who would like to not be considered or nominated for vice chair, to please indicate that now by raising your hand. Okay. So, and I'm going to, all right. We've got, so I believe everybody's kind of changing as your like animated hands are going up. So no more animated hands. Just leave those up though. I think if you don't,
Would you like me to add mine? Because I don't want to be.
Yes. Okay. All right. It's so funny with the animated hands, everybody shifts on my screen. So then I was having a hard time keeping track. So we have 2 members who would be okay with being nominated. And that
Yeah,
is
I want to nominate Cal to be the vice chair.
How did I not see that coming? I literally was thinking that. I was like, you know what Cherie's going to do right now?
You bet I am.
But remember, Member Barnett can also be nominated because you did not raise your hand. I just wanted to say that I do appreciate people raising their hand. I was trying to figure out a way to make this a little bit easier and not so clunky time-wise. So I appreciate your unwillingness because that just made it streamlined, right? And I totally understand. Are there any other nominations? Because we have a nomination for Member Weeks at this moment. And do we have a second for our nomination that stands?
I'll second it.
Thank you. So, and that was Member Lange. Yes. Oh my gosh, I worked on it. Thank you so much. I almost called you. Just to make sure. So with that second, we are going to go to public comment.
There are no hands raised for public comment.
All right, bringing it right back to a vote. If you'd like to take your hands down, we'll do this as a roll call vote.
Perfect. Okay, so those in favor of nominating Member Weeks for vice chair, Member Barnett,
Yes.
Member Bartholow,
Yes.
Member Lange,
Yes.
Member Richardson,
Yes.
Member Rodriguez,
Yes.
Member Steffi,
Yes.
Member Weeks.
I suppose I should.
Oh, I guess I'm so
say
sorry.
yes.
I was going right through it. Okay, I'll just take that. Member Wiseman,
Yes.
Vice Chair Inocencio,
Yes.
Chair Graves.
Yes.
Thank you very much. Let the record show that all members present approve of Member Weeks being appointed vice chair.
Thank you. And
Took what, Cherie, like 3 years, 4 years before I took a leadership role?
This is the greatest payback for the pen debate we had 4 years ago. You are welcome, Cal. If swag comes up as a debate item, you get to help with the facilitation.
I'm so excited.
Well, congratulations, Member Weeks. And I do want to take a moment just to thank our former vice chair former vice chair Inocencio. Thank you so much for all of your support and your time and your energy that you put into your year as being vice chair. It was much appreciated.
Yeah, well, thanks for that. I appreciate it. And congrats to Member Weeks, or Vice Chair Weeks, I should say.
Yeah, right. All right. And that closes item number 6.1. We're moving into item number 6.2. And this is a rather hefty item. It's our CAB strategic plan refresh. I have no problem in being transparent and letting you know that I've been a little stressed, trying to make sure that I was prepared for this item. So, and my stress was alleviated a great deal by working with our facilitator, Mr. Juan Lopez from Amistad Associates, who, after I give a pretty lengthy introduction of what we're doing this evening, will lead the CAB in a conversation about updating the CAB strategic plan and priorities for 2022 this year and go over steps necessary for the process. There is a CAB strategic plan that was attached to your agenda. And Madeline, if you want to bring that up now.
One moment.
As she brings that up, I'll just continue on. I want to state the intent and the purpose of tonight, which is the refresh of the strategic plan. I do realize and recognize that working on a strategic plan is a very time-consuming, very much an energy expenditure, in which that is not what we're doing here this evening. This strategic plan was put together 5 years ago, and we are in the last year of the plan. I do have some prepared notes because I needed to do this. So if you see me looking down, that is helping me out here. So tonight the CAB will embark on a brainstorming session with our facilitator, Juan Lopez, to identify strategies that we may put into action over this year, being that it is the last year of what is CAB's 5-year strategic plan, which started in 2018. Before we begin, I would like to briefly touch upon the strategic plan, not in detail, but as a 30,000-foot overview, just going over a few highlights and the CAB's accomplishments. I will also provide a brief timeline from 2018 until now that will hopefully serve as a backdrop for where we are currently before handing it over to Mr. Lopez to lead the discussion. So the strategic plan, if you'd like to go to the next slide.
Let me go ahead and change this from a PDF to a PowerPoint. My apologies. So just give me one moment while I get that.
No problem. And I think I can keep going while you do that. I'm not. This is a great time for me to interject that I am not going to go through slide by slide by slide of the presentation that you were given. I am assuming that you all got a chance to look it over, and or if you didn't get a chance to look it over, that you will do so after this evening, and it will actually be a little bit more in context. So I also want to preface this by acknowledging and thanking the 2 CAB members who were serving in 2018 for working to create the plan, including our mission, the stated vision, and the details to steer the board. The intent of the plan, as I understand it, which I have to admit, when I was first presented this plan, it was very hard for me to understand coming into the CAB after the plan was enacted. The intent of the plan, as I understand it, was to create a roadmap with stated categories and priorities to better focus the efforts of the CAB members and leading to some measurable metrics of success and accomplishment. Year 1, here's where we'll go back a little bit when the presentation's up, but year 1, if you remember looking at it, was clearly designed, and you can see that in slides 5 through 7. So as we open that up, Madeline, and I know it's going to take you a little time, we'll just we'll go ahead with slides 5 and 7. It's important to note that the operations category, which was also a subcommittee, was later folded into the other categories.
I'm sorry, Chair Graves, my apologies. We're just having a tiny bit of a tech issue getting this up.
Totally understand PDF versus PowerPoint. So, all right, instead of going in that, I'm going to just pivot a little bit, and I'm going to go through the timeline of CAB from 2018 until now. And this might not touch on everything that's happened between then and now, but just as a timeline, a brief timeline. As I stated before, we now have 2 CAB members who were serving on CAB in 2018 when the strategic plan was created. Both member Barnett, who has served for over 5 years, I believe, correct?
Since January of 2013.
Wow. Okay, thank you for your service. You're a lifer right there. And member Weeks, who was just reappointed to the CAB last month after serving during that time period in 2018 as well. In December 2019 is when I was appointed to the CAB. And it's important to note that all other board members have been appointed during COVID restrictions, predominantly during 2021. And we have had 4 new members join in the last 2 months. So many of us have therefore never met in person. From March through June of 2020, the CAB did not hold meetings due to COVID restrictions. And in July of 2020, the CAB resumed meetings via Zoom, and they have occurred online since that time. In January and February 2021, an exodus of long-serving members started to occur. I am sure for various reasons, and some of which I know to be because due to newly elected council members during the election of 2020 for new appointments, some Zoom fatigue, and other opportunities that members had. The empowerment and engagement subcommittees were permanently suspended by CAB members in 2021 due to time and scheduling constraints. Work from these subcommittees was to continue during the monthly CAB meetings. And I'm going to go back to talking about this first year of the strategic plan. And it's just, again, to restate that year 1 was clearly designed, as we can see in these slides. In slide 5, the 1-year roadmap for empowerment, I believe in slide 6. The next slide is a roadmap for expertise. And in slide 7, it's a roadmap for operations. As we move on with the slides, once again, you can see that there was a good deal of effort and details put into the first year of the plan. Moving on with objectives. Now, I also want to continue to commend the folks that were on CAB in 2018, because this was a huge lift. As you move on to the next page, you go into the work plans. It was very detail oriented, and in 2018, I want to remind everybody that we did have the fires in 2017, but the CAB members were definitely aspirational and had no reason to believe that there was more emergency situations and impending strife to hit our community. So their plans were in great detail and far-reaching. And you can just go ahead and flip through this. And you can see it continues on and on. If you have not had a chance to look at this, please do. I realize on this, we're going through it rather quickly here. And at this time, Madeline, when you do make your way to the end of the slides and bring us back to one of those first slides that had the mission statement on it, that would be great. Thank you.
Slide 4.
Thank you, Juan. See, Juan has my back. It's awesome. This man is already a good friend of mine. So I wanted to talk about the CAB's accomplishments. And by no means is this a thorough list of accomplishments, but it summarizes it a little bit. And I find accomplishments in different places. And that might be something even for myself to work on, is to put those accomplishments all on one list. So the CAB's accomplishments since 2018. Another huge lift was implementing NeighborFest. This had many aspects in order to get it to the implementation phase. Once it got there, there were 8 grants awarded and 8 events taking place in 2019. 2019 was the pilot year for NeighborFest. There were also grants awarded for 2020, but no events due to COVID restrictions. And these grantees were then allowed to utilize their funds for projects. It's worth noting here that there was only 1 year, the pilot year of NeighborFest. The next accomplishment is proactively attending neighborhood meetings. A list of neighborhood groups was completed, and 4 of us currently are editing and updating that list. That will be an agenda item later in the meeting. While some CAB members were attending meetings during this time from 2018 till now, there is no running or comprehensive list that I know of for those members in attendance to meetings. So if there was a comprehensive list, I would tell you, 50 meetings have been attended since 2018, but there is no such list that I know of, other than those stated in minutes and or recordings from 2018 through now, when there's been CAB announcements, I've attended a meeting or I've attended a function. Another accomplishment, inviting council and city departments to come to CAB. This has been done on an ongoing basis since 2018, but again, there is no comprehensive list other than what is stated in minutes and or recordings from 2018 through now. Next accomplishment, Civic 101 videos. CAB members assisted staff with creating this series of videos, and the work of the CAB was also utilized to create the Citizens Guidebook required by the Open Government Ordinance. Presently, this project is being reviewed by legal before its implementation. So the actual scripts that are to be used in the production of those videos are now sitting with legal to be approved. The next accomplishment, creating talking points, a flyer, and facts for CAB recruitment. This was completed just before COVID in 2020, but unfortunately, the CAB has not been able to utilize this as it was intended to be used at in-person local events, although it was provided to our city council members for their use and for their information. 2 more. Create a list of board assets and present 1 CAB member per meeting. This, from what I can ascertain, has morphed into our photos and our bios up on the city's website. And I encourage you, if you don't have your bio or your photo on the website for the Community Advisory Board, to please get that in. It is, it's not a requirement, but it is appreciated by the community so that they can easily identify who is on the board. And lastly, for this list, although like I said, there's many little facets of these goals or these accomplishments and some others that I did not put on the list. Update of the CAB grant program to reflect current conditions due to the pandemic. And this was accomplished and completed twice in 2021. And it's worth noting here that since 2018, the CAB has awarded 23 community improvement project grants for a total of over $80,000. And that information is available, including who those grants went to, on the Community Advisory Board page of the city website. And if we can go back one screen just to that mission. Oh, actually, I guess two screens. So there, thank you. There you go. So this brings me to where we're at now. And trust me, this is probably not as comprehensive as I know our former chair and now member Barnett could provide all of you. From 2018 till now, our community has experienced incredible forces of change. District elections, fires, the pandemic, and a social and racial justice movement, all of which has been positive in that it has garnered more of our community members being actively engaged in local policy making, equity issues, mental health issues, housing, policing, public health, and more. Our strategies to connect to city government and residents needs to be refreshed to reflect where we are right now. My personal hope is that tonight's exercise will help us to get our feet on the ground in the months ahead as our community opens back up with less and less COVID restrictions. As we brainstorm with Juan Lopez's assistance tonight, every idea to better engage our community is worthwhile. We will record all of our ideas and look to either formalizing them into 3 to 4 concrete strategies tonight, or if time does not permit, we will continue this exercise at our next meeting with potentially some homework between now and then. I anticipate a question coming up. Do we have to stick, or should we, could we stick with what has already been outlined in the plan and the presentation that you have up on screen and that you had attached to your agenda? And my short answer would be no, you don't have to. We will use it to guide our intent to foster more engagement. And why I say that we don't need to necessarily follow the strict guidelines of the strategic plan is because the strategic plan was formulated 4 years ago, and we live in a different community and a different society at this time. So if we can concentrate potentially on engagement and that overall writing factor of bringing our residents, and I would say even potentially non-residents, because there's some people who work in Santa Rosa who are vocal as well and would like their voices to be heard, and engage folks so that their voices are heard in the decision and policy making that impacts their lives. I think if we have that intent behind all of our ideas when we go to prioritize them into the top 4 to move forward into the next 12 months, 10 months, we'll be able to affect change. So I realize that may have been just a little bit clunky, not as smooth and polished as I would hope that it would have been, but I'm going to lean on all of you to bring your ideas, your strengths, and your voices to the table. And right now, handing it over to Mr. Juan Lopez. Thank you so much, sir, for being here, and thank you for facilitating this discussion.
Thank you, Chairperson. Let me ask, before we move into a brainstorming stage, if you will, are there any questions based on that presentation by Chairperson Graves? I don't see anybody moving. Am I frozen?
You're good.
No? Okay. We're good. So there are no questions. I think the only thing based on our conversation, if we looked at slide 6, one of the key points we wanted to make clear was that operation stage was eliminated early on. Is that correct? Not that we're going to use it, but I want that information shared as a whole.
Juan, you are starting to freeze up just a little bit. It's going in and out, and but
Okay.
to address your question, yes, I did mention that the operations strategy was folded into the other two strategies early on.
Okay, great. Thank you. Sorry, I missed that.
No problem.
All right. So by way of getting started and hoping that I don't freeze as we go through this process, just quickly, I live in Sonoma County, actually, live in Windsor. Office is in Sebastopol. I have resided in Sonoma County since 1987 and actually started coming up here when I was going to Sonoma State in 74. So I'm pretty familiar with Sonoma County, and probably like all of you, deeply in love with the county. So with that, what I do want to move into is given our overall direction, when we think about year 5, what are some ideas you have as a CAB group that you would like to focus on? So we don't have to limit it. We can generate as many ideas as we'd like and then begin to come back after we are complete with the generation of that list and have a bit more focused conversation on what begins to surface as a priority. So this is a time to open it up. And I think who'll be recording the ideas? Is that Danielle? Daniel?
Yes.
Okay.
Daniel and Danielle.
And Danielle, good. Okay. So you joined this board for a reason. You've had an opportunity to see all the good that it does. You certainly see all the work that's tied into it. As you begin to think about what's important to you, what would you like to come up with as areas of opportunity in terms of work for probably what we're considering the next 10 months or so? Please, go ahead.
Hi there. My name's Member Steffi. My thought was that I joined the CAB during COVID, so I've never met any of these people in person. And it's been frustrating because I feel like I haven't been able to actually help my community at all because I've been like stuck at home. So I've been one of the people trying to coordinate and reach out to the neighborhood groups with our chair and some other people. And what came to me during that process, I realized a lot of the smaller neighborhood groups have disbanded during COVID. And so it's an opportunity for us to bring them back together. So I thought that would be something we could focus on maybe for the next 10 to 12 months, is helping them get their legs again as far as small community groups. And then maybe that's the way we can start to really foster more community engagement on the smaller level, if that makes sense.
Okay. So you're is trying to organize the neighborhood groups, begin to try to identify these partnerships. Is that your idea?
I guess I would word it a little differently. How do I say this? Magali probably has much more experience with this certainly than I do, but I'm thinking if we can facilitate them getting back together again, not that we're going to do it for them, but we can maybe help them create the leadership or answer questions and facilitate that. Because I heard from a few that said, I haven't even been in touch with my neighbors at all for 2 years. How can you help me? How can the city help me re-engage and find some leadership so my community, my neighborhood group can start meeting on a regular basis, or at least just using tools like Nextdoor or email or social media to create that bond of the neighborhood, starting at the grassroots level, if you will. That was a way long answer, I'm sorry. But I guess it's more like us providing leadership so they can do it themselves. Not that we're going to do it with so many neighborhoods in the city, but I think we can have a role that we can provide there that would be beneficial.
Great. Thank you, member. Other ideas?
Yeah, this probably dovetails off of what Member Steffi was saying, but I would like to personally try and actualize some of the empowerment strategies that we outlined previously. I mean, we worked a long time on really trying to essentially brainstorm the best path forward in terms of boosting our overall participatory kind of engagement here in the community. And it is a shame that COVID-19 had to happen. Obviously, that could have never been anticipated throughout this process. And I gotta say, I'm having a little bit of like deja vu. Like, this is a blast to the past. It's kind of weird looking at this again. Being that it was so many years ago that we started or embarked on this process. So anyways, kind of summary, I would really like to focus on boosting kind of our overall engagement and kind of trying to empower, as it states here, the diversity of voices, that we have in our community in the process of, the city decision making. Because the reality is there are a lot of things in the pipeline, especially the Santa Rosa Action Plan. And there's a lot of things that we need to get people plugged into. And so whatever we can do to get that kind of back on track, I'm in favor of.
The question around focusing on the empowerment, are there specific areas within?
Oh, sorry. Yes, I should probably elaborate a little bit more. Again, I think echoing Member Steffi, I think I would like to try to the best of our ability to reconvene neighborhood groups. I was a little dismayed to hear that NeighborFest obviously, fell through. That was something that we'd kind of been incubating and discussing for quite some time. And I was actually very excited about it getting off the ground. Unfortunately, I actually moved to DC in September of 2018. So I didn't actually get to see this play out, during the first year, which was unfortunate. So I had to live vicariously through social media. So I would like to see that have some legs again. I think they scuttled that. I'm not sure if they scuttled that, permanently, or if there's some opportunity to maybe breathe some life back into that. Because I am, a big supporter of, and a big proponent really of getting to know your neighbors. I've had some lively chats recently on Nextdoor, some great, some interesting. But it's all part of, understanding who you live with. And I think that's, there's a lot of value in that. And I'll stop there and let some of the other folks chime in.
I'll add a two-part suggestion. First part being documenting the tangible benefits of CAB. So I think a lot of people don't understand what CAB does, and although the mission's there, for the average person that doesn't mean much. And so to be able to actualize and share examples of both what's intended and what has happened in past practice, so that people can understand how to utilize the group. I think that would be a tool to actually help neighborhood groups see the benefit of rejoining, because then they know that there's an entity that they could go to. The other piece I would add would be educating and connecting. So being able to host and maybe create some type of virtual or hybrid type of, understanding the city department infrastructure. I think a lot of people do not have basic understanding of how government works, and then what are their options. And if this group is supposed to serve as the bridge between the two, then to really create space for people to gain some insight and understanding. And I think that would help to leverage our community partners, not just in the neighborhood groups, but organizations, especially those that are affinity or faith-based, that work with some of our most vulnerable populations, to help people understand how to both use support that exists at the city level, that may be a little bit more attainable than what exists at the county level.
Thank you. Member Rodriguez, then to be followed by Member Bartholo.
I really, what Member Steffi said, reconnecting. I really would love to see us have everyone reconnect. As a parent, we've been out on the Little League field, and it's been so great to reconnect people. We've been out at Doyle Park, getting the fields in order and reconnecting. So I think there's a great opportunity through Parks and Recs and families to just reconnect and remind them of all the great things the city's doing. And it's sort of upstarting everything again. I don't think we can begin where we left off in 2019. I think we're really starting at ground zero again. And rebuilding with everyone, because we're not going to connect the way we did 3 years ago. We're starting fresh, and things have changed. So I also wanted to add, Maybe there's a way to get some data on how people want to connect. Things are different now. How do we do that again? And it's sort of about meeting people where they are now. So I'm looking forward to starting fresh with folks and connecting with families out in the parks and the fields. Thanks.
Thank you. Member Bartholomew?
Hi, thank
Hopefully
you.
I'm pronouncing your name correctly.
It's very close. It's Bartholomew. At least you didn't call me Bartholomew, which is what most people do. I just wanted to add my support, and I agree completely with what Member Steffi said. You know, we've already got these lists, these neighborhood lists being worked on. But I think that was a really good point, Member Rodriguez, that a lot of things have changed over the past couple of years. People have left, some people have moved here. So, you know, we may be able to create new neighborhood groups, you know, or not us personally, but through getting the information out to the community. And do we have some sort of like packet, like if someone was interested in starting a neighborhood group, do we have something to help them do that? Like, you know, just a little sort of info, and here are 5 steps to create this neighborhood group, and this is who you need to communicate with at the city, and just something that makes it really easy for people to start a new group if they want to.
A roadmap, if you will.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. I just want to say, and hopefully I will keep trying to get more ideas from you, that when I had the opportunity to talk with Chairperson Graves, and I looked at this strategic plan, as someone who's been involved in doing a lot of strategic plans up and down the state, I was very impressed by the plan. And I thought it was very robust. And truth be told, it's hard for volunteer groups to accomplish that amount of work. So I do applaud you all for putting that together, those of you who were there when you got started with it. But recognizing that now, as some of you said, you have a fresh start. You want to really look at what you can accomplish in this year. So the neighborhoods certainly is coming up and has been repeated multiple times. What are other ideas that people have that you feel could make a real difference in the community? Somebody else?
Could you reframe the question?
Other ideas that people want to put out there around items to be considered for the year?
Juan, can I just throw in really quick? Member Weeks, you mentioned Neighbor Fest, and I just wanted to throw it out there that there were some other conversations at CAB regarding the potential opportunity to just do Wildfire Ready, which is very similar to Neighbor Fest, but it's sort of a one-time versus like in the neighborhoods, only because unfortunately our fire department really after certain part of May really needs to be available, and they're a big part of the event. So I just wanted to kind of throw that out as information.
Thank you.
Yeah, and I'll piggyback off that, Mavali, for educating and connecting in a virtual and hybrid way so that folks can understand government. And this is these Civic 101 videos do exactly that, hopefully, once they are completed, right? So the intent there was to do around 3-minute videos. They're very short and encapsulate a good amount of information so that they could be played not only on the website, but potentially even during a break for the city council when they have their virtual meeting up online and on the city, not really a TV station, but where meetings are shown and whatnot, so that people could actually see those, and also on social media, obviously. Just again, trying to meet people where they're at as far as all of this new technology being with folks. But that doesn't necessarily erase the need for going out and talking with people one-on-one, because some folks don't have the access to that technology. Nor does it wipe out that idea, because there's definitely other ways that you can educate the public around understanding what government does. It is a big topic. There's many facets, and I'm sure that we did not get to a number of them in our scripts that we built for the Civic 101 videos. Just wanted to add that in.
Thank you. Other thoughts? Other ideas? Again, we're going to generate hopefully as many ideas as we can, and then come back and start to prioritize a bit more. Member Barnett?
So when I first started with the cab back in 2013, my first meeting, I said, if it's not fun, I'm not going to do it. I've subsequently done a lot of less than fun things. However, we're talking about re-engagement tools. And at the time, one of my goals was for Santa Rosa to be the block party captain, like the block party, like mecca of the world. I was just determined that we were going to have block parties. And NeighborFest, was my pivot point of like, yes, we're going to give residents and neighborhood groups money to throw a party. I'm in, right? It just got a lot more complicated because we were putting social cohesion and emergency preparedness into that bucket. So I want to put it out there of we could use the CIG as the lure, but I also just think having a block party toolkit and a simplified grant process for people to get some money together to throw a block party to re-meet all their neighbors, because it's been 2 years. People move, people have babies, things happen, but a block party is outdoor in the street, getting to meet neighbors, and it creates that excuse for folks to reintroduce themselves. So there you go.
Okay, block parties. One on every block. Other ideas?
Yeah, so one that just popped to mind. I mean, I'm sorry if this was already mentioned in it.
That's okay.
I don't know, because obviously, as we discussed, a lot of folks here are relatively new. And given, the circumstances that folks join, as it's already been discussed, I suspect we're all at, varying levels of, experience in terms of engaging our community. And one of the platforms or kind of strategies that, we outlined was educating ourselves, was creating some sort of, opportunities where we could assess the strengths and weaknesses of our members, and then collectively try to find a way where we could, wield or leverage our collective skills to be as impactful as we could in our respective jurisdictions. And so, trying to find ways in which we could potentially do some internal trainings, find opportunities to, maybe work on engaging individual neighborhood groups, whether that be through Nextdoor or some other platform. I don't know where everyone is in terms of, their experience. And so this is just something I thought I'd toss out there, because it seems like it might be a worthwhile endeavor, especially given that we're going to be, kind of coming into a post-COVID phase, fingers crossed, knock on wood, hopefully soon. And at that point, I think to Member Rodriguez's point, we are certainly I think looking at a different landscape, a very much a different world. Does that mean necessarily that we need to scrap and start over? I don't necessarily think so, but should we pick and pull at things and see what we think could still work, and then maybe what doesn't work? Absolutely, we should totally reassess that, because things have changed, and that's just the reality that we're facing. And so that's just my additional 2 cents.
Okay, so I heard 2 ideas there, or 2 points. One is for the group to do some kind of team building where you get to better understand each other and at the same time gain a better understanding of the collective skill sets. And then the second is to maybe go back and look at part of the strategic plan and identify if there are components of that are still critical to look at in terms of what you may want to incorporate in for the rest of this year. Would you say I
nailed
captured
it and said it in a far more succinct way than I think I ever could. So thank you.
Okay, so you got those 2. Other ideas. So Member Lang?
I would add that we have data from the Portrait of Sonoma readily available for us to perhaps partner with our Office of Equity at the county level and Human Services to disaggregate what impacts directly are affecting Santa Rosa as a city. And I think really be an opportunity, while it's, I think for some communities and some neighborhoods, there is a yearn to connect. There are some that are barely getting by, and to really recognize that that's a reality that folks are facing. And that's a lot of the work I do outside of this space. And so really creating space for both, and like some have the room and the resources to reconnect, and some neighborhoods have changed so drastically that it's a bit of a scraping the barrel. Some people may not have the energy or even be thinking about connecting with their neighbors because they're trying to figure out, who and how to get food. We did a food drive recently, and this is why I bring it up, with Sonoma County Black Forum and NACP, and we fed over 400 people just right out of the JC parking lot. So the need is there. There are a lot of folks who need support, and I think while we can create ideas that we think may work, it's also good to understand what the needs are too.
Excellent, thank you. And I think that's a key point for all members to consider, which is to what degree might we be looking at when you're talking about community wide, what are areas that may need a different approach with respect to diversity, equity, and inclusion? Thank you. So, Member Insencio.
Innocencio, close enough. So, I think I'd like to kind of echo what some of the other members have been saying about maybe documenting what benefits a neighborhood group gets by, working with CAB, and really maybe CAB exploring what benefits we do give, right? And also understand. I'd like to explore the idea of supporting neighborhood group newsletters. I know a lot of other cities do that. I think it's a simple way for them to communicate with their neighbors. The city provides free postage and things like that. So just really understanding how we can help these neighborhood groups grow and sustain their connection with their community. So that's what I'd like to advocate for.
Great, thank you. Member Rodriguez.
I'm going to add sort of a new heading to environment as sort of a water geek. Santa Rosa Creeks, our infrastructure is also a great way to connect to our community. If there are communities, if they're not people, that's great. That's okay. Maybe they connect to their environment. And so talking about our Santa Rosa Creek and our streams and the environment and the nature around our city that is so important that we work to protect as well is another great way to have our neighbors connect to the community. So if there's a way to either do, again, love sanitation, if we could talk about ways to connect to our infrastructure, our floods, our creeks, why we have our watersheds, it's another great way to have folks connect to the city.
Thank you. I'm quickly scanning to see if there are any hands up. Am I missing any hands? Okay, other ideas? Certainly a lot of focus and emphasis on connecting with neighborhoods, connecting with the community, and certainly exploring the diversity of the community in areas of interest. Are there other thoughts? The newsletter, other thoughts?
You have Chair Grace.
Chair Grace, go ahead.
All right. Well, thank you. I definitely want to say thank you to all of these great thoughts and ideas and suggestions, and having them down. I've been frantically writing notes, and I really want to emphasize, Member Lange, what you had brought to the table around meeting the needs of groups and really being aware of that, because our neighborhoods are not always even representative of everybody in our community, right? So not everybody lives in a home. Not everybody is a homeowner, which we typically associate with neighborhood associations. We do have, apartment buildings. We have short-term residents that are here, whether they be a traveling nurse or in some other profession, or just coming through town. We have people that are disadvantaged in that they are houseless at this moment, or have been, or potentially will be. So those are all things to consider. And then at this time too, I also want to bring up when all of these great ideas are brought forth, thinking about the potential of the CAB enacting that idea and or facilitating and advising the council that this is a need that's greater than what the CAB can potentially provide, right? I think that to Mr. Lopez's point about the strategic plan, and reflecting back on the first time that I saw it, it was very overwhelming. I've worked with a lot of nonprofits, and I've worked in corporations as well. And it looked like something as detail oriented as a very well established nonprofit organization. And the CAB is a volunteer group board that, as we've seen over this last year, is transient. And so we have limitations. We meet once a month. Most of us have outside obligations that pull on us in several different directions, not just one for work, and also other volunteer obligations. So I by no means want to be a roadblock to any of these ideas whatsoever, but I want to put a little bit of a framework around them so that potentially you can ask that question of yourself, or even any of the ideas that have been presented tonight. Would this be something that we could entertain to enact in this next 10 months before 2023, when we potentially bring another strategic planning session to the CAB at the end of that 5 years? And I also want to point out that any and all ideas are worthwhile. And if they potentially aren't something that we work on ourselves or advise the council that we would like to see a greater emphasis of them on an idea, that the idea still remains. It hasn't gone away if it doesn't make it into those two categories. And that in fact, it could go on to our strategic planning sessions in the future, because CAB is going to be around and continue. and is going to be able to work on more things. So this is really such an eye-opening exercise too. So with all of that, my idea is that in 2018, we went to districts, and it wasn't until 2020 that we had a full city council based on 7 districts. At this time, I don't know that we are really reaching out into every single district in an effective way or in a proactive way, or that CAB ever has in those defined districts. So my idea would be to develop a way, whether it be through events, through neighborhoods, through organizations, that we have a presence in all 7 districts, and that people within all 7 districts know how to resource the CAB. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you. Has everyone had an opportunity to put out an idea? I want to make sure we've captured all voices, and I don't see any other hands up. So are you complete now, or through all this conversation, do you have new ideas that have emerged?
Well, Juan, I'm gonna help you out right here.
So this is a request for more ideas. If anybody has some that they want to put forth.
I think I'll restate the ideas that have come forward at this time, and then maybe we can see how we want to move forward. How does that sound?
Sounds good.
All right.
How many do we have?
More than 5. I didn't count after 5, but I have them written down. So some overlapped.
Okay.
So there were multiple members who stated that they would like to help facilitate the reorganization or reactivation of neighborhood groups.
Mm-hmm.
And then we also had a revisit of the strategic plan and actualizing some of the empowerment strategies, including Neighborhood Fest, and or I'm going to put these 2 together for you, member weeks. Reactivating, educating ourselves with internal trainings and team buildings by looking at that strategic plan and bringing that back to the forefront. Another idea was documenting tangible benefits of CAB. That was also multiple members mentioned this, and actualizing this document in order to share with community groups and organizations, and use it to educate and connect through either virtual or hybrid means so that more of our community can understand government. And then we also had 2 more ideas around how people could reconnect, either utilizing our parks and our fields and or our Santa Rosa creeks. Another idea, so that would be number kind of a 4A and 4B. Another idea was to continue on with utilizing the neighborhood lists, and that piggybacked onto facilitating neighborhood groups. And a unique idea within that was creating a packet or a roadmap to start neighborhood groups, so that neighborhood groups actually had an outline of how to do that they could take with them. Number 6 was to use our community improvement projects grant funds or community improvement grant funds to fund block parties within our community. Number 7 was using the, I might not have the name of this right now, I'm sorry, the Sonoma County Outlook of Sonoma County, and focus in on Santa Rosa in order to meet the needs of our neighborhood groups and our community groups where they are now, using the statistics and the data that are available in that document. I think we're up to 7. And number 8 would be to fund neighborhood newsletters.
Mm-hmm. The community engagement staff, is there anything on your list of notes that is in addition to what was just shared? Anything missed that you captured?
I think that sounds pretty much sums up what I have. But I don't know if I necessarily heard the wildfire ready / yeah.
I apologize. I did omit that, and not on purpose, because I just wrote it down as you started talking, so I do associate that with your voice, Magali. So that is a citywide event in May, and that is the wildfire.
It's a wildfire ready. It was a week-long series that we launched last year. There was, if I could just give a really quick recap of it. So we had started, it was a week-long. First day, we had Dr. Peter Nelson, who talked to us from an ancestral practice of having good fire. So Dr. Peter Nelson is a professor at UC Berkeley and also a member of the Grayton, I'm so sorry, I'm blanking on the name, but it's the, oh my gosh, the Grayton Rancheria. I'm so sorry, I'm getting.
Are you asking about are you talking about Greg Saris?
No, Dr. Peter Nelson is a member of the Federated Indians of the Grayton Rancheria. Sorry, I wanted to make sure I said that correctly. And so he spoke from a perspective of like why it's important to have our local fire agencies continue to work with our local tribes for a number of different reasons. So we really kind of try to help the community understand from a historical perspective of why this is important. And then secondly, the second day, we also provided more information on how specifically people can do some home hardening, weed abatement. And then the third day, we did address what we heard from many of our community members was trauma and trigger points when people smell smoke and you hear sirens or different weather events that can trigger people. So we did have the Santa Rosa collaborative work with us on some techniques, as well as other mental health providers work with us on some techniques that adults and kids could kind of implement to kind of get themselves kind of back to a good baseline, and then continued on with more conversations from the fire department and SRPD, as well as our public information office on NICSO alerts and sort of all of that really great like resource, how to be ready. And so the idea was for this year to be able to just put all of that into one day and offer those opportunities to the community at the training site for the fire department, so that it's open space, folks could table, fire could do. We really talked about some really cool simulations for different sort of fire events that happen and how fire department reacts. So it was going to be very informational and an opportunity for community to to come together. I am going to be meeting with Chief Westrope this next week to see kind of like what would some potential dates be for the fire department, because again, we want to make sure we don't tie them up too much after a certain part in May. Last year we did declare fire season awareness was May, and we started on May 17th. So anytime after that can get a little bit tricky to have those resources available. So just a quick recap on that.
Thank you. Thank you. Daniel, was there anything in your note taking that was missed?
Yeah, I think that was the only thing that I would agree on with Magali, that it was the wildfire ready. But thank you, Member Graves, for that summary. It helped me really condense my notes because I had to write down everybody's, but I got it down. And then obviously what you said about making a presence in the 7 districts. I know that was part of the idea. So, okay. Yeah.
So having heard the summary of all those ideas, let me just ask the members, is there anything that was missing based on what you had suggested thus far? Do you feel like anything's missing? No? Okay. So the question then to the group is, are we complete now, or are there any ideas that have emerged for any one of you? You feel good about the list thus far?
Yeah, tangential but related. I'm wondering if, once summer comes around, assuming, COVID conditions, which summer appears to be right around the corner, if, we relaunch the Wednesday night market, there might be opportunities for us to start re-engaging folks there, because obviously that's when a lot of the population in City of Santa Rosa really converges on downtown area. So I don't even know if they're going to do that this year. I have no clue, but that could be a unique opportunity to really start, taking what we want to do here and what's been stated and actually putting that into action. But just, again, another 2-cent thought.
No, it's a good idea. So that you could add to the list as you saying, if it's Wednesday night farmers market, opportunity to connect with the community at large and share and educate. Okay. Any other ideas from the group?
Just to chime in, just so that we're all clear, yes, the Wednesday night market is planning on coming back. It starts on May 18th and it goes through August 31st. It's every Wednesday. Some of you may know I ran the market for 3 years, and so the board president and I were just talking the other day, and they're excited and scared probably all at the same time because it's going to be huge. I know that the city usually has a booth. The city is involved with the Wednesday night market, so that's something that the community advisory board would be set up, not every single Wednesday night, but maybe a few of the nights that we'll be discussing probably in the future as it gets a little bit closer. Their applications are out there, but some of the periphery information for the Wednesday night market has not hit the streets yet.
Okay, so that's another area to talk about around who could show up at the tables amongst the membership group. I was just thinking when you said it was on, Member Barnett, that's the beginning with all that music to have some block parties. Okay, so going, gone. Any other ideas? Yeah. With what we have thus far, and again, you'll have an opportunity. I'm sure it'll be summarized and sent back to you. I would suggest that, Chair Graves, as opposed to trying to go through the whole list and prioritize it now, unless there's a strong feeling amongst the group that you want to go through that list and try to prioritize them now. I see some heads shaking no.
I see heads
okay,
shaking
so two things. One, well, I think it's always good to capture the notes that you have thus far what you provided an overview on. Make sure that that's typed up and then emailed out to each person to look at, so that folks have a chance to really think about them again, because it might spur some other ideas. It might cause some people to go, I want to be a bit more specific under that area, so that when we do get to what ideally would be 4 items, we're in agreement with those 4 items in terms of what it entails and how to move forward with it. So with that, then I think my role here is done. Is that correct? I don't think I can squeeze any more out.
Juan, you've been a pleasure, and such a pleasure behind the scenes to work with and here this evening. Thank you for your skill. It is known worldwide, folks. We were in the presence of a great man here. So please give a little round of applause for Juan as he'll probably now leave the meeting and enjoy the rest of his evening. Thank you.
Well, thank you. Thank you for the kind words. I want to, again, just sort of end by saying to all of you that as someone who's been involved with communities all over, I know it's extremely challenging to find time to be involved in giving back to the community. So I applaud your efforts, and I wish you luck in your movement forward around doing these things. It's much needed. Thank you. Bye-bye.
And with that, we'd like to head back to the agenda. And under, this is great. Now I've kind of lost my, under item number 6.2, I'd like to open up public comment.
There are no hands raised for public comment.
Thank you. And now moving along to item number 6.3, which is a request for a grant extension. So I'm going to read what is right on the agenda. And then I'm also looking at my phone right now because there was an email just of information around this. I want to make sure that I get this information correct for this grant, a request for a grant extension. So on July 28, 2021, in our first round of grant projects in 2021, the CAB voted to fund the Chinatown Memorial Crosswalk mural project. The grantee has since been informed that Public Works will be conducting a slurry seal, so a top coat on the street. So a slurry seal project at the site that had been chosen in the summer of 2023. And just so you know, the site that was chosen was on D Street and 2nd. So if you know where the post office is, and then you head to D Street, and it's like that intersection right there before you head into the parking garage. That's right there. So the Slurry Sale project will happen at the site in the summer of 2023 and will not allow the art installation to move forward until the Slurry Seal is complete. So the Slurry Seal is performed by our city Public Works Department. And this grantee has been in communication with the Public Works Department in order to get the project off the ground. The grantee is asking the CAB for permission to extend the due date of the art installation until late 2023. And I want to point out right now that within our grant applications, we have it stated that the grant needs to be complete within a year after accepting the grant funds. And previously, grant funds were only given to a grantee that was approved after they spent their own funds and the funds that they had that were matching and completed the project, and then we would give them the grant funds to pay off those receipts, and they had to turn in the receipts. As the grant is designed now and what we approved moving forward, including this project, is that they receive their funds up front, but they then have to show that the project is complete within that year. So within that 12 months after they got the funds for the grant. So this is why they're asking for an extension. Daniel, do you have something? Because I know I just saw your hand go up. So I'm like, am I saying this correctly? No, you're good?
Oh, no. Yeah, I didn't say.
All right. So this is why they're asking for the permission to extend the due date to being the date that it's due for completion of the art installation until late of 2023. So they would have had to have it previously completed by the end of July this year. So this would be an extension of over 2 years. No, over a year, excuse me. This grant was for a memorial crosswalk. I don't believe, yes, I did state that it was the Chinatown Memorial Crosswalk, and it was working with an artist and a nonprofit group. So any questions and or a motion?
I move.
I heard someone had a question, so I'll go to the question first.
I think that was me. I'm just curious, financially, is it a problem with the city? Like, will we have the money in 2 years when they want to do the project? Is that an issue at all? If not, then I would move to accept the extension.
So just I'll go backwards just a little bit because I don't think I have said it very clearly. They have been given the funds already for this project. So the city doesn't have to then give them the funds at this point. So they have the funds. So this extension would allow them to hold onto the funds and not return them. Whereas if we didn't give them an extension, then come August of this year, if they had not completed their project, then they would need to return the funds.
Return the money, right? I'm sorry, I must have misunderstood. I didn't think we gave money out that at that point during the other projects I've worked on. We wait till it's done, but this is all out of their control. So I would motion to accept the extension, and I believe someone else was already going to do that before I.
Second.
All right, so we have Member Steffi motioning to accept and approve the extension for this grant, and Member Bartholow has seconded. Correct? All right, and we're moving on to public comment on this item.
There are no hands raised for public comment.
All right, coming right back to the board with a roll call vote.
Member Barnett?
Approve.
Member Bartholow?
Approve.
Member Lange?
Yes.
Angie? Member Richardson?
Approve. I'm having technology issues. Sorry.
Not to worry. Thank you. Member Rodriguez?
Yes.
Member Steffi?
Yes.
Vice Chair Weeks?
Yes.
Member Wiseman?
Approve.
Member Inocencio?
Yes.
Chair Graves?
Approved.
Thank you very much. Let the record show that all members present approve the motion to approve the grant extension for item 6.3.
Great, thank you, everyone. That closes item number 6.3. Moving on to item number 6.4 is our neighborhood and community groups list discussion. There was an attachment to your agenda of the neighborhood groups list. I want to mention that the neighborhood groups list does not give out contact information on that attachment, although we do at this time have 4 volunteers, including Member Steffi and Member Barnett and myself. Member Barnett, I'm not quite sure that you got my email about how we were working on it. I have this feeling that you didn't, so we'll have to chat later. But we've been working on this, updating and editing the list, and that does include the contact information. So behind the scenes, we do have the contact information. So the neighborhood and community groups list, our working group will provide the CAB with an update on our work and on work on the list, and will provide the CAB with an opportunity to discuss how to utilize the list moving forward. So I know this dovetails right into some of the discussion that we just had around the strategic planning refresh for this last year, but I know that there is some information to share as well. So Member Steffi, you've been helping to edit and update that list. Do you want to share your experience?
Sure. We each took 10 names to begin with, or 10 groups, and I've reached out to my 10. I only heard back from one. The other one I did some research on and got information. So it taught me that a lot of these groups have disbanded, or maybe the people who used to be in charge aren't anymore. So it's an opportunity for us to do some more research and try to connect with the groups. I did hear back. I sent another message to the 8 I didn't hear from, and I heard back from the JC neighborhood group. I think I sent you a note on this, Chair Graves. And she said, you know, COVID, they've all been home. They've lost contacts. They're looking to the CAB and the city for leadership to find a way to reconnect, because they used to have a really strong neighborhood group in the junior college area. So she wants to meet for coffee. I said, sure. And then I thought, well, I need to talk to Danielle and Magali or someone before that, because I didn't really know exactly what the process would be to find their neighborhood groups mojo again and get a leader and kind of get it moving along. So that's been my experience so far. It's been really rewarding, and I feel like I'm actually helping and connecting with city citizens.
Thank you. Thank you, Member Steffi, and thank you for your work on that. You're very detail oriented. I appreciate that. Member Barnett, I have to ask, did you happen to get my email on that? No, I see that you're saying no.
No, I'm popping into the thread right now and looking, because I'm like, this doesn't seem like the list because what happened was, and Cal can back me up on this, was let's see, it was Cal and Mike, and there was it was a really robust subcommittee that put the list together initially. And when I looked at the attachment, I'm like, this doesn't feel like the complete piece that we got back from that subcommittee back in the day. And then I'm looking at the email thread and going, I felt like there was something more that came out of it from that subcommittee. And so, and so that was part of my, I was looking at it and going, this doesn't feel like the list that we got from the subcommittee back in 2018. And then it looks like Danielle had updated in the email. And so I'm like, because the email's got 62 names on here, and the attachment to the agenda has like 32 or 60. Yeah. So but I even feel like that's an abbreviation. Like I remember this work that they did, and it was like they came out the gate, because it was Cecile and Mike and
yeah, I remember Cecile being a part of it.
Yeah. Right. But Cecile, Mike, and
well, it's okay. We're okay without knowing because we don't even know that person. So
yeah, like I said, it was one of those things where I was like looking at the attachments and I'm going, this doesn't feel like the list that we got from the subcommittee to the board. Like I'm like, I feel abbreviated. So
well, it could be, I mean, 2018 was quite a while ago, so it could be some of those neighborhood groups moved on. But I was actually asking about receiving my email in order to work on the active list now. Did you happen to know?
I have been slammed with bike month work and I haven't looked at my personal email other than for essential stuff because I am so buried right now. So I can pop into it right now and take a look.
It's okay. So I'm going to share my experience of working on it. And I know that member Baldonegro has helped to work on it and reached out to his 10 on the list. So I had the first 10 on the list. Member Steffi had the second 10. Member Baldonegro had the third 10 at 10. And Member Barnett was, by a process of elimination, was going to take those last 10 or a little bit less. But I can fold those into mine too, Member Barnett, no problem. I reached out to all 10 and heard back from some. Some have not been meeting due to the pandemic, but some have wanted to start back up and are actively starting back up. And in fact, there was one group that invited me to their meeting coming up on March 9th and a work day that they're planning in conjunction with the city Public Works, giving them a hand in April as well. So, so what I've tried to do, which you may not be seeing on the attachment, is write little notes so that it could help activate us as a group to engage with these neighborhoods. There are neighborhoods that are, I should say, not the neighborhood is there, but the group or association is no longer there. Here's an example. Member Rom, who's on the Community Advisory Board, who I know was at another meeting tonight, so he probably got sidetracked onto that meeting and that was unable to come this evening. He was the president of Coffee Strong, and Coffee Strong was formed as a neighborhood group shortly after the fires and due to the fires in order to strengthen that community and see its rebuild. They, earlier this year, just within the last month or two, have disbanded Coffee Strong because they felt that it had served its purpose. It has gotten the neighborhood back to a formidable stage in its rebuild. And the information that he sent to me was that they were not going to continue on as a neighborhood association. They had a purpose, they served that purpose, and they did not want to then continue on. But there's other groups forming potentially within Coffee Strong, and there's no organization that can be pointed out right now, but they're kind of in that fledgling stage of becoming different groups. So I think we're running into a little bit of a time issue with this. There will be some groups that, like West End Neighborhood Association that's near downtown, that is still going strong. And then there will be other groups that are disbanding on purpose. There will be other groups that are somewhat just disbanding because people have moved away and they no longer have that maybe one energetic person or two energetic people that brought them all together. And others are trying to take positive steps forward to bring back their association. One thing that we also did with this was look at the districts, because this neighborhood group didn't identify, this neighborhood list did not identify which districts these neighborhoods were in. So I went through and did that with our district map that the city of Santa Rosa provides on the website. And I did a quick tally of, based on this list, which we know some of these neighborhoods are not there. And admittedly, some groups, when I say, oh, you're the Goodman Avenue Association, they're like, we're not an association. we sometimes get together and do a garage sale kind of a thing, but we're not an association. So, but that's okay. You know, sometimes they'll still want to identify as having one contact, so I kept them on. But I went through a quick tally as to how many neighborhoods were in each district, and here you go if you want to take notes on this. District 1, as it shows right now on the list, has 9 neighborhoods. District 2 has 5 neighborhoods or groups identified. District 3 has 2. District 4 has 10. District 5 and District 6, potentially, I don't know which district one group is in, so I'm going to give you a couple options here. District 5 has 7 or 8 groups, and District 6 has 1 or 2 groups. That's because that one that is not identifiable yet as to which district it's in. And District 7 has 1 group. I thought that was really interesting because when I looked at that, I think about equity and I think about resources of these neighborhoods. So I don't necessarily have a firmed up opinion about that. I just wanted to bring that information to the table. So the question in all of this is, as we continue to work on this, because this is a living document right now and is not in any way, shape, or form completed with all of the information attached, and there may be other neighborhoods out there that we need to know about and put on this list, is how we as a board would want to move forward with this list once it is complete. How we're doing this now, working in this small pod of 3 to 4 people, allows us to be able to communicate with each other without violating the Brown Act. So if we were to, and we don't have subcommittees right now on the CAB, doesn't mean that we can't have subcommittees in the future, but one of the reasons why the board chose to disband the subcommittees was because of a conflict of schedule and time. So, and subcommittees, by the way, have to have staff attending, and right now, additional staff because it's on Zoom. So you have to have someone, hosting, and you have to have a staff person in attendance, and it has to be either Magali or Danielle because they're of the correct level to be with the subcommittee to help facilitate if needed. So, with all of that information, I want to hand it over to you without, going on and on myself, which I tend to do. So, is there any questions or comments regarding the neighborhood groups and how to move forward with the list?
Oh, well, I guess I have just one general comment. I was tempted to put it in the chat earlier, and I didn't do it, but I am curious to see what happens once we redraw the lines again and we identify, potentially new communities of interest, if they'll band around that and potentially create new pods of folks that have a vested interest in some sort of neighborhood activity or whatever, might, band them together. And so I don't remember, can someone remind me, the timeline for that is, in a matter of months, right? We're going to have the new district lines. I don't recall off the top of my head.
I think it's April 17th.
Okay. so soon. And once that comes around, then we'll have, I think, an even better sense. Well, maybe late summer. It'll take some time to get, for people to kind of get, I think, situated. But anyways, it was just something I've been mulling over. I'm curious to see what will happen, especially since we're in the, again, hopefully the wake of this COVID-19 crisis. So I'm optimistic people will hopefully, seek out some return to normal and start getting active in their community.
Are there any other questions or comments, ideas, suggestions, how to move forward with the neighborhood list and how the CAB can move forward? Or let me state this question a different way as I look at all of you. And I see your tired faces. And thank you, it's 8:04. So thank you for being patient. We had a robust discussion around the refresh for this year, for the strategic plan. I see you, Member Bartholomew, in just a moment, okay? If this topic of the neighborhood list needs to wait until we revisit that refresh with our input and ideas, and someone feels strongly about that, please say so here. Member Bartholomew.
Thank you. It just is really clear, and thank you for the summary by district of how many groups we've identified so far. I think we definitely don't know about all of them because I can't imagine in new council member McDonald's, so McDonald, getting that wrong, but I think she's District 3 and only 2 neighborhood groups, and she has all of Oakmont, and Rankin Valley. That doesn't seem possible. But there are some districts that obviously we need to identify what's going on there better. And is this something that we can call on our council members to help us with? It would probably be beneficial to them as well to get to know these pods of people in their districts for a number of reasons. Anyway, just a comment and observation.
Thank you for that. Are there any other comments or suggestions to move forward?
Just a comment that if we don't have many neighborhood groups, I don't think that would be surprising given what we've gone through in the last couple of years. So it may be worse than we think.
Yeah, and I also want to acknowledge and honor residents in the city of Santa Rosa that a neighborhood group can be a lot of work. So, and some people take that on wholeheartedly. I can think of some reasons why. And in other areas, as Member Lange said earlier, there's plenty of neighborhoods where getting together an association or a group to be more engaged is not front burner. Front burner is putting some food on that burner and, raising your family and working multiple jobs and long hours. So I wasn't surprised at this list either. So I'm not hearing any other suggestions or ideas. So at this time, I will look to all of you to hopefully be in agreement with this, that the 3 to 4 of us will continue to work on this list and bring it back to our next meeting. I see heads being shaken. I don't believe that needs a motion or a vote. I'm just going to go with those thumbs up, and we will open it up at this time to public comment.
There are no hands raised for public comment.
Thank you. That closes item 6.4. Item number 6.5, issues of concern to city residents. This is a standing agenda item. CAB members will report on issues of concern to community members within their CAB areas and the city as a whole. Community members may use public comment during this item to bring issues of concern to the CAB. So CAB members, are there any issues of concern to city residents at this time that you know of? And I'm seeing no hands raised. I will interject that I was very pleased to see that one of our sister boards, the Art in Public Places committees with the city of Santa Rosa, just approved an expanded language list to appear on the public art installation that will be in Courthouse Square. It's called Unum. I had the great honor of serving on 3 committees leading up to the decision for the committee on the art in public places. And unfortunately, the last community engagement committee, I wasn't able to attend all the meetings and to attend to all the information because of a health issue during last summer. So when I saw the initial decision last month to only include 15 to 18 languages, and some languages were left out unknowingly, unwittingly, I was surprised, but not all the information was there. So the people that needed to bring forth more information did, and I was very, very happy with the vote. And I was there for the unanimous vote, and I was cheering as I was muted on Zoom, and it was awesome. So I hope that you all get to see that public art when it is installed later this year. So item number 6.5 will move to public comment.
There are no hands raised. Public comment.
Thank you. And that closes item number 6.5, and moving on to future agenda items. This will be before our adjournment, which we go over the tentative schedule, which is subject to change, pending final publication and posting of the meeting agenda. You can include your input and discussion in order for these future agenda items to potentially appear. Before I dive into A, B, and C, I want to make mention that our March meeting, so our meeting next month, has been canceled. It conflicted with staff scheduling, and so we were unable to have staff support for our March meeting, and we will not be able to hold a March meeting. So our next meeting will be in April. So going over these future agenda items, it's the CAB priorities sitting, continued as needed. So our discussion that we had this evening will be continued in April. The next one is Santa Rosa Together presentation. We talked about this at the last meeting, and we had decided as a CAB that they would, Santa Rosa Together would be given an opportunity at the March meeting to make a presentation. Unfortunately, with the March meeting being canceled, the next opportunity is in April of 2022. We have had some communication with Santa Rosa Together, and they may be moving their presentation and to the Charter Review Board at this time, but we will still leave a space and hold a space for them in the April 22 agenda until we hear otherwise. And then we also have the Office of Community Engagement Strategic Plan, and that would be determined sometime in the future. Are there any other additions to potential agenda items that you would like to see? I see no hands. So at Oh, I'm sorry. I'm missing two of the items, so they go to the next page. Another item, city diversity, equity, and inclusion initiatives, also to be determined at a future date. And the new city manager meet and greet would also be determined at a later date. So that next meeting is April 27th, 2022. If no other comments or additions by the board, can we go to public comment?
I will say this one thing, Chair. Unfortunately, I am going to be out at the end of April, so I'm a little bit, well, it's kind of a bummer that unfortunately I won't be missing this for, it looks like a few months then. So I guess I will, I'll be seeing you all for this meeting in April, but excuse me, in May, it appears. But
remember, you can always connect via Zooms wherever you are, potentially. If there
maybe I'm on the other side of the world, so we'll see. We'll see how that goes.
All right. Well, I'll look forward to when you're there and your vice chair designation. So, so moving on to public comment.
There are no hands raised for public comment.
All right, that closes future agenda items. And now at 8:14, thank you so much for all of your participation and your patience to get through the agenda. This item is adjournment.
Motion to adjourn.
Thank you so much. There is the motion, and I believe everyone seconds, but I'm going to give that second to Member Wiseman, and being that you're new. And I try to do that each time, and I think I forgot to do that last time, so I apologize for that. But that way you're on the books. Member Wiseman, you seconded that. I believe everybody's voting yes to that motion, and I'll take it back. And I will say good night, everyone. Please be safe out there, and thank you again for all of your involvement with the city.